Walk up in this bitch like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, bitch, I'm really him, on God. Walking this bitch like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, bitch, I'm really him, on God.
Welcome back to The Rush, y'all. We are back in business. We're in the city. San Fran, SF, Cisco, whatever nickname you want to give it. We got a very special guest in the building. Obviously, I got my brothers here, Brogan Roback, Darian Terrell, the usual. But today, we have our first woman, the one and only, Illinois Illini. Is that the
Fighting
Illini?
my
research. Fighting Illini.
I. There it is.
St. Louis
Did you go to Illinois?
finest.
No.
But you are surrounded by a bunch of Midwesterners.
Okay.
Ohio,
Yeah.
What?
Michigan.
Michigan, yeah, we're deep. But today we got Taylor Rooks. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Let's give it up.
Yes.
Truly, thank you for having me. I was so excited when you asked me. I was like, we'll make it happen. Let's do it.
No, we appreciate you coming on, taking your time. We know you're super busy. We can start off like this. How has your week been? How busy have you been? We see you everywhere. Kind of give us a little rundown.
I mean, February generally is a marathon. My voice still hasn't recovered. I feel like from Super Bowl, I'm just powering through. But Super Bowl was great. Had a lot of, different branded things, hosted the Power Brunch, did some interviews. Then came here for All-Star. I did sideline for the Rising Stars game. I have a live vodcast today. I'll host the Playmaker Women's Brunch tomorrow, and then I'll get a bit of a rest. But February is crazy. But in all honesty, I don't really know anything other than craziness when it comes to work. I'm always hopping on a flight. I always have to be in another city. I'm always going between basketball, football, interview, whatever the case may be. So this is somewhat my air. I've become used to it. But February, it definitely goes into a different level of overdrive, for sure.
Do you almost feel weird if you're not crazy busy?
Totally.
At this point?
Which is something I'm also trying to work on a little bit.
For sure.
Relax.
Yeah,
peace.
yeah.
Be able to
Finding that
enjoy your
peace.
own
I'm working
time.
on like being where my feet are.
Love that.
Yeah.
And also being content and
Yeah.
like feeling satisfied. I think that like, with what we do, it always feels like, okay, there's something else to accomplish and there's more you can do and there's something that you haven't done and you just want to do it always.
For sure.
And that feeling of, okay, there's more doesn't let you stop and think about what you have, I think.
Right.
And I'm very proud of like all the things that I have done. I have no complaints. I feel thankful and blessed and happy every single day. And I want to be able to soak that in instead of saying, okay, but this. So I'm working on it. I'm working on feeling antsy if I'm still.
Sounds like this dude right here.
I was gonna say
Literally.
we've gotten to know each other over
Yeah.
the last couple of years, but literally you're speaking our language right now. I feel that. I think that's the hardest thing. Everyone talks about balance and like it doesn't exist in our world. You know what I mean?
doesn't.
We're in different lanes, but at the same time, like there's always something more you can do. There's always the next level. How can I get here? What is like? I feel like people see accomplishments and it just doesn't mean anything because we're so in the mix of it. It's like, okay, now what can I do? What's the next level?
100%.
And that is dope to see. So is
Yeah.
it?
And go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna ask, like, being in that situation, always traveling, always moving. Is there ever times you're like, damn, I kind of need to take a break, or I want to take a break, or is it just like, nah, like we're gonna keep rolling?
No, I never think I
love
want
it.
to take a break.
That's good.
You passed.
Yeah, I
Okay.
never think that I want to take a break. I just, I don't. But what you just said resonated with me because, like, what I'm really working on now is stopping and being proud of myself.
Yeah.
Because when you are moving so much, like you're referring to, and you're like, okay, there's more that you can do, you just do not know how to soak in accomplishments.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you probably feel this way, but when you get something done, you almost feel like you expected it.
Yeah.
So you don't even know how to be happy about it. You're like,
That's
well,
so
of course
true.
this thing happened.
Yeah.
But it's really good, I think, to check in with yourself and feel happy and think about how far you've come and not just think about the things that you haven't done. But I never think that I want to take a break. I think
almost like
breaks
giving
will
yourself
come in
flowers.
time. Yeah, breaks will come in time.
It's important. We talked about it like this year, like 2025. We started the year on the podcast talking about manifesting and staying positive, staying present, not worried about what's coming next, about what we did before, like just being where your feet are at. And I think it's super important because you can get caught up in all the things going on to kind of get lost in the mix. And I think it's super important to to be your own number one fan.
But it's hard too, though, because in the back of your head, you think, well, that mentality is also what I feel like has separated me.
Yeah.
So it's
100%.
like, what parts do you keep?
You got to keep the hunger,
Yeah.
but also be able to give yourself flowers, like you're saying.
Totally.
It's like finding that grace in there, or I feel like Max says, finding that inner circle, the people that are going to keep you uplifted at the same time, but also still hold you to the standard that you want to be held at. You know what I mean? If that makes sense, like it's important. The people that you are with, I mean, that's you. It's a reflection of you. I know it's corny as it is, but shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's the truth.
It's a huge part of it. And I feel very lucky. I just have the best friends, the best family. Like, I just always feel supported and seen. And it is very important, just like in the life that we have, that you also have something that's yours. And I feel like all of that support system, like it's mine. And there are people that see me and that understand me, which is invaluable.
100%. All right, let's be honest. How's your wallet looking these days? If it's looking anything like my old one, it's probably overstuffed with receipts you don't even need. Falling apart, and let's not sugarcoat it, kind of gross. That's exactly why I made this switch to Ridge Wallet, and I haven't looked back.
Ridge Wallet is a sleek, minimalist, and ultra-durable upgrade that holds up to 12 cards, plus cash, without having to add any bulk. I used to carry around a thick leather wallet, and it felt like it was a brick in my back pocket. Bad for posture, terrible for lower back. Now, my Ridge Wallet's so slim I can barely even notice it's there. They have other options. With over 50 colors and styles, including forged carbon fiber, titanium finishes, and even NFL team editions, you can find one that matches your vibe perfectly. And if you're like me, and you're always misplacing things, they've got an AirTag attachment, so you'll never lose your wallet again.
And right now, Ridge is having their biggest sale of the year. It's their once-a-year anniversary sale, and you can get up to, what was that? 40% off. All you have to do is head over to ridge.com/rush to take full advantage of this deal before it's gone. That's ridge.com/rush. And when you check out, make sure to tell them you heard about it from us. This is the last wallet you'll ever need. Over 100,000 5-star reviews, a lifetime warranty, that's my personal favorite, and a 99-day risk-free trial. What's stopping you? So with all the things that you have going on and all the great things you've accomplished, what's been like the most rewarding part of your career so far? Because it's just getting started. We know it's going to be, you're here for the long haul.
We're just
Thank
starting
you.
to cut, for sure.
I always feel happy when it's such a small thing, but I love when I'm doing an interview and the athlete or public figure, whoever, like stops and pauses for a second to think about it. And they say, like, that's a good question.
I love that too.
I know it's tiny, but like that is always my favorite moment. A, because it means you're asking somebody something that they haven't really thought about or discussed. And when you're talking to people who are interviewed all the time, it's very rare that there's something that they haven't pondered before.
For sure.
So I enjoy that. But then that also means that that person feels seen in that moment.
Yeah.
Like you ask them something that they want to answer. And what I love the most about being an interviewer is really seeing people and listening to them. Yeah. So all of my proudest moments come from that like back and forth, like dance that comes from an interview. I love all aspects of my job, but interviewing is my number one favorite thing.
That's your bread and butter.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I owe a lot of my career to interviewing, for sure.
Yeah. Do you feel like you separate yourself, or is there something about the way you go about your process that like differentiates yourself to others in your line of work? Like,
yeah,
because I've heard this numerous times. Like, obviously, we used to be a playmaker, so I've seen you on the Step Brothers. Is it Step Brothers?
Oh, the
pod?
Roommates. Yeah.
Roommates pod,
Yeah.
Step Brothers.
Yeah.
With,
Same thing.
Same
close.
shit.
That's what they
Yeah.
act like. It's because that photo is them and the Step Brothers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Saved us.
yes, but like to that point, I've heard them talk about your interviews, your style. Like, what about it do you think differentiates yourself?
I would say that I'm a big believer that not all prep is about being on a laptop. Not all of your formulating is about research.
For sure.
I think that the way that I live life, the conversations that I have with the people I'm interviewing or about the people that I'm interviewing, all play a role into how comfortable I'm able to make them, the questions that I'm able to ask. I talk a lot of the time about someone like Ahmad Rashad because he obviously he was a player, but he mastered this art of like, they all saw him as a peer.
Yeah.
And when they saw him as that, they were more comfortable, they were more open, they trusted him, and they just felt like he understood. I obviously was not an NBA player, but I didn't ever want that to be why I was like behind the 8 ball. So it was incredibly important to me, like, as I speak to people, that relationship building, that intake of information, all of that is what I use once you're sitting down with me. And that is a lot of what I think has separated me, is like I very much so lean into myself and my experiences when I'm sitting down with somebody.
Absolutely.
Much more, I think, when I'm doing like my interview show and I have like a full hour to talk about all these things. But that's probably what I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I respect
dope.
that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, kind of taking it back a little bit, change the note a little bit. You know, we did some research and we seen, you know, we talked about the Illini a little bit, but your dad is a legend
Yeah.
at Illinois, all-time leading rusher.
Yeah.
You have a lot of family that was involved and did really well in sports. Is that kind of the beginning for you? Is that where you fell in love with sports and kind of wanted to chase this like dream that you're living right now?
Oh yeah, definitely my dad. Love my dad. I've always been a daddy's girl. And yes, my uncle played baseball. My uncle's a Hall of Famer for the Cardinals. But really a huge thing was my mom.
Yeah.
Like my mom is huge into sports. Falcon season ticket holder. She's why I started playing fantasy football. Like, we're just a full sports family.
Yeah.
And that has been incredibly invaluable to me in my career. But I think when, you know, I think about my dad or my uncle, I always saw just athletes as people. Like, I understood what it took. I understood the sacrifices. And that there was always a bigger story. I feel like it's something that I've always just held close, and that has helped me too. But when it comes to the love of sports, my family, of course, but also being from the South is huge. Like, it's just, we love our football down there. So it's just always been a part of everything that I do.
So you claim Atlanta? You don't
Well,
claim St. Louis? I know you're
So
born
yeah,
in St. Louis, so we gotta talk about that.
we got some researchers on this.
Come on now.
Yes.
We got to be ready and
I love
prepared.
It. I
No,
love
yeah,
it.
let's hear
So
it.
born in St. Louis.
Okay.
But I lived in Georgia from when I was 6 years old to when I went to U of I. So like,
I got you.
definitely from Georgia. But I'm from Gwinnett County, so it's like
Gwinnett.
30 minutes north of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like when the Migos say the north, they're
north.
talking about.
That's literally what
Talking
he
about
said.
Gwinnett.
Yeah, they
we
talk
just
about
said that.
Gwinnett. So
Yeah.
anytime, like Quavo always made me do the north side. But yeah, so I'm from Gwinnett County.
That's
That's
dope.
awesome.
Okay.
What's the difference from being in the South or Georgia in general to coming up and being in the Midwest? Like we said, we're all Midwest guys. So
Yeah.
Winter.
is there a difference?
Winter.
Yeah.
I was gonna say cornfields, like Illinois was just
You're in the
all
middle.
Nothing
Flat.
Champaign, Illinois.
Flat.
Good times though. Big
Fun
difference.
place.
Yeah.
I would say. I mean, college generally just feels like a world of its own. Like, I don't even know what
Facts.
you compare a college campus to. But Chicago is one of my favorite cities. So when I graduated U of I moved to Chicago because my first job was the Big Ten Network.
Yeah.
I lived there for 2 years. I love that city. It's clean. The people are nice. It has great restaurants. It has like a river running through it.
Yep.
It feels homey. I always say we should just start the revolution and make Chicago, New York, or something.
sure.
Because I'm like, I love that city. It's if you want like a break, but you still want a city vibe, Chicago's the perfect.
Or if you want to pay
place.
$25 for a drink, Chicago's the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Traffic like that.
Not move all day in traffic for sure, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then I want to ask you kind of a hard hitting question, not really, but you cover football,
Yeah.
you cover hoops. Obviously, you're here for NBA All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
Is there one that you prefer to cover more than the other? And you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but my real question is, when you sit down and do these interviews, can you feel the the difference in mindset between, it's chopping it up with Maxx and then chopping it up with D Wade or any other former basketball player? Like, is there a
Yeah.
different mindset between the two athletes, in your opinion?
Yeah. Okay. So for your
Or vibe.
first question, I owe so much of just like my career to the NBA community. I started really heavily doing NBA stuff. I feel very connected to that league. So it always has like a soft spot in my heart. I'm also obviously about to host the NBA show. So I love the sport. I love the fans. I love the culture. The players are great. Obviously, it's such an elite product. What NBA players are able to do, I think, is sometimes discounted. People don't realize how insane of an athlete they are.
For sure.
Yeah, it's wild.
Might be the best athletes in the world.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like otherworldly. So I love covering the NBA. It just has a special place in my heart. I love Thursday night football because being at the games, it's just nothing like it. The energy is so great. And obviously the NFL is the NFL.
It's a juggernaut.
It just runs this place. So for, just for different reasons, I like them for, for different reasons. In terms of the players though, there's definitely a difference. Yeah. It was Richard Sherman once who actually was like, the NFL logo is a shield. The NBA logo is a player. Yeah. And that shows in what you all discuss and how you all talk about both the sport and yourselves. Yeah. Like I know when I'm talking to an NBA player, they're going to be very open. They're going to speak their mind. They aren't going to shy away from discussing them individually, talking about their performances, leaning into maybe something that's a little more, drama's not the right word, but things that are a little more off the court. Like they will talk about everything holistically, I think. Yeah. NFL players, especially if it's in season and like it's a feature, we talk about that game. We talk about like and that is it. You know what I mean? That's so true, though. That's so it. True. Like, and I get it, right? I understand with how the NFL is and how so many things that you say are just picked apart in different ways. You want to make it about the team, the game. Like I absolutely get that, but it's definitely different. I know that I'm just going to get different things from an NFL player versus an NBA player, but great in different ways too.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's so real. I think it's so real because like football, everyone says is the ultimate team sport. You know what I mean? So you have so many guys in the locker room. Like you need everybody to succeed. I feel like in the NBA, like you just see at the trade deadline, one guy like gets traded, now all of a sudden they're a contender. Like NFL's not like that.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You got to have a full roster to do it, and I think it's just the culture. They're two different cultures. I feel like growing up in like an AAU background, like we both played AAU like growing up, and like it's just different. It's a lot more individualized, and your brand is something that is built from like a young age. Like you got guys coming to the NBA with $10 million shoe deals and all this stuff, and like they're built up from a young age. Football, it really takes time to like develop as a. I feel like it's the physical part that's so much different. Like in basketball, like you don't have. Like you see guys like Giannis, like 18 years old, comes in the league and he's scrawny. He's still balling. Like it doesn't matter. Wemby, same thing. Like he hasn't. I don't know if he's lifted a weight in his life, but he's gonna pick up a ball and give you 30.
Squad just to see if he can.
Yeah, like it's just different. Like physical. I think the physical development part, like
pencil,
it makes you like have that different level of respect. You know what I mean? So just the mentality is a little different.
Yeah, because I think also just to be an NBA player, or an NFL player. There's just something that's got to be a little different about you.
Yeah.
Like what you're signing up for. Like this, that you have a different mentality. Like you're a warrior in some ways. You know what I mean? Only bone I would say I have to pick with NFL players.
Damn, I thought you were saying NBA.
No, NFL players.
Let's hear it. I love it.
It's a lot of like cliches.
It's just a bullshit
It's
answer.
a lot of like
PR
team speak. I'm like, if I hear we got to execute one more time.
You ask
like, I can't.
If all of us do our job, then
it's like, we get it. Like, come on. So that's the only thing I'd say about NFL players. Not saying you do that so much, but
I feel like I
your brothers, they do.
You want the tea.
You ask the question and then you don't get the answer.
I want something real.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I think the NBA players, a lot of time, they give you something real. That's why we're always talking about what those interviews are. Right. And it's not that you all are, intentionally not trying to be yourselves, whatever the case may be, but it just so quickly becomes that almost coach speak, locker room, like get you riled up. Like, I want to know what you really felt like. Yes. So it always sticks out to me when NFL players are like honest in ways that you don't normally hear.
Yeah. So I've been searching forever for a protein shake with clean ingredients that actually taste good. I got introduced to Slate protein drinks by my brother, Dana White, and I was hooked immediately. Slate is hands down the best protein shake on the market. It tastes incredible. All of the flavors are incredible, but I can't stop drinking the French vanilla, which legit tastes like melted ice cream. What I eat can have huge effects on my performance, so I'm always paying attention to what I'm putting in my body. Each can of Slate has 20 grams of protein, 100 calories, and only 1 gram of sugar. I drink 2 of them actually after every workout, and I drink 2 every single morning. And that is not a lie. I know I'm an investor and I know I'm part of the team, but I'm telling you the truth because Slate is a part of my everyday routine. Plus, it's made with no artificial ingredients. That means no artificial sweeteners or flavors. I drink Slate every single day, and now my teammates are drinking it as well. If you're looking for a pick-me-up, Slate has a line of high-protein iced coffees that have 20 grams of protein plus as much caffeine as 2 cups of coffee. I mean, it's a double whammy. Unbelievable. Start your day the right way. Sometimes, instead of the coffee, I'll grab the mocha latte to get extra protein in the morning. You can find Slate everywhere at retailers nationwide, including Walmart, Target, Kroger, Safeway, and Albertsons. Looking to get Slate delivered directly to your door? Get 15% off your order on slatemilk.com with code RUSHPOD. That's RUSHPOD. Go get that right now. Slate Milk, best protein shakes in the game.
No, talking about authenticity, what is it that we have this show, Max's show, you have the Roommates podcast. What do you think about athlete-led media and hearing it from the horse's mouth? And you're on the other side of it. So what's your thoughts on that?
I love it. I mean, I think that everybody should feel empowered to tell their own story, especially when you are in a place where people are clamoring to tell your story for you. And athletes specifically, there's a perception of you that exists before somebody ever even meets you. So the more that you can get someone to know you fully, I think that it's great. People understand more like your interests and what you're actually like, and you can craft that narrative. And in this space, people will just always be trying to craft that narrative for you. So whenever you can have a vehicle, I think it's really, really good, especially when they are good pods, right? And this is a really good pod. You mentioned Roommates. I love that. I also think for you specifically, Max, you were just interested in so many things. You're like an incredibly emotionally intelligent person. You have just like so many things for people to understand. Like, you are not just this very scary guy on the field that is coming to kill your quarterback. You're just so many other things. And it's just interesting because there is like a juxtaposition between that person we're seeing on the field and then this very like kind-hearted, intelligent person who is cultured and wants to soak in information, and you want people to understand that you can be more than one thing. So I enjoy that the pod allows you to do that.
It's so real because like we were with Marshawn last night. We were talking about just
He's
how
the best.
you already know everybody says the same thing. He's the best. Like, I've known him since my rookie year, and we have the same agent, we have the same business partners, like things like that. And I remember coming in as a rookie, and like this is just a prime example. When I came in, I had a coach who told me, like, when you get your money, man, all you're gonna do is spend your money on tattoos, and you're gonna get in trouble with interviews because, like, sometimes I just speak from the heart. Like, I'll cuss sometimes in interviews, and like, I'll go up in an interview with Amazon when I seen y'all. I'm
shirt
no
off.
shirt, smoking a stogie, but that's who I am.
Iconic photo, though.
It is, though, really.
Iconic, literally.
Controversial to this day.
Yeah, just a little bit. They were a little upset. I'm not gonna lie. The NFL called. I'm like, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to deal with it. I'm
There's no going back.
There's no going back.
Like, this me.
That's who I am. But like, I think that's so important too. Like, that's literally why we started the pod, is so we can speak our own narrative, because I think, you have the old school approach, and there's nothing against it. Like, Jordan, Kobe, like, those are the guys I look up to the most. But the world is changing, and it's always evolving and going to a different level. It's like we talked about earlier. This is what the norm is going to be. Like, 20 years, are going to look back, and everybody's going to have a pod. And players, even in the NFL, are going to have a platform to really express who they are. Because I am a football player. People get to see me on Sundays, and, like, the perspective is, like, I'm this crazy, mean, nasty dude, and like, I'll meet you on the side and I'll be chill. You know what I mean? Like, when I'm not in football mode, like, I'm most laid back, I'm chilling, doing my thing. I'm with the guys, like, I keep it very simple. And I think that's what people, like, it's cool from my perspective. Like, I feel like if I was a fan, I'll be excited about it instead of being like, no, shut up and just play football.
Yeah,
it's
no,
like,
I'd be like, give me
like,
more.
I'm a human being. Like, I want to know the person. Like, I think it's dope on the NBA. Like, you get to see, like, even with the show, the season, what was it called? The NBA, where they follow LeBron. Starting five. Like, you get to see them with the families and how they are on a daily basis. I think that's important for people to see, because I feel like when you're a professional athlete, they don't look at you as a human being. Like, I feel like I walk around, they're like, Mad Mac, blah, blah, blah. And like, I'm supposed to tackle them and pick
like
them
a
up.
character.
Yeah, like I'm a cartoon character. Like, that's not who I am. You know what I mean? Like, when I'm in that zone, like, that's where I get to, that's like my dark side. You know what I mean? I get to let out everything ever transpired in my life. That's why I love football. Like, it gives me that outlet. But like, as a human being, like, I can't be like that all the time.
Yeah.
I can't be on tilt like
hot.
that all the time. It's not safe. You know what I mean? It's not good for anybody.
But how
But-
cool is that he like
Dope.
has a place to be that?
Yes.
Yeah. it's
I
the
always
best.
am like, I
Very
would
fortunate.
love to
It's
be
like a
able-
purge.
Yes.
You know what I
It's a
mean?
purge.
It's really like a purge.
Where do we let it out? He gets to
don't.
go tackle Patrick Mahomes, right? I'm like,
That's why
you know?
people wonder why people can't transition from athletics and all those things. You're hardwired to just
Yes.
have this controlled chaos,
Yeah.
and it's an outlet.
Yes.
And then you go into the real world, and you're sitting at a desk. What are you going to do?
No,
You
truly.
get pissed off. You can't go to practice. You can't go work out. You just have to take it.
Yeah.
And you're
Sure.
praised for like your violence, your
Yeah.
not anger. I don't want to use anger. In some positions, it is
Yeah,
anger.
it is.
It's
Yeah.
pure
But
anger.
I think what you do such a great job of, though, Max, honestly, is you are an absolute demon on the field, but you have the biggest heart. We talk about it all the time, and like you take the time to sit there and actually be a human with the fans. You'll talk to them. You'll open up, and I think that's so huge. I'm sure you've had so many countless interactions where people probably walked away because you took the time, and I'm sure it's something that you intentionally want to do, and they're like, I love Taylor. Like, she's so cool. She's normal.
Yeah.
Because so many people don't think that when you're on TV or you're making plays
Yeah.
or whatever it may be.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at NordVPN, the fastest, most secure VPN out there. If you're not already using a VPN, you're leaving your data exposed, and trust me, you don't want that. I've been using NordVPN for a while now, and let me tell you, it's a game changer. Whether streaming shows that aren't available in my country, securing my personal information while traveling, or just making sure my internet stays private, NordVPN has me covered. Plus, with their threat protection feature, I don't have to worry about malware or phishing attacks. One of my favorite things, it's crazy fast. No buffering, no lag, just smooth, uninterrupted streaming. And I can use it on up to 10 devices, so my phone, laptop, and even my smart TV are all protected. So, if you want to take control of your online security and unlock content from around the world, go to nordvpn.com/therush to get an exclusive discount on your NordVPN plan. Plus, you'll get 4 extra months free on the 2-year plan. And their 30-day money-back guarantee, there's 0 risk. Click the link in the episode description and get started today.
I actually don't even know if you know this, but this is when I said, okay, Matt's going to be my guy forever. Do you know how the feature happened when I came to interview you?
I know from my perspective, but I want to hear yours
Okay,
because
so-
I know what happened.
So this was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
2 seasons ago, I was coming to do a feature for Thursday Night Football. I had been prepping that week to interview Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
I get there. We're ready to interview Devontae. 20 minutes before the interview is about to happen, PR says, okay, Devontae is no longer available to do the interview. He has to leave. That's a different story. Love Devontae, but he had to go. So he was no longer in the building. And we obviously need a feature. The game was tomorrow. This was a Wednesday.
Yep.
And they were like, who would you want? And I said, Maxx Crosby is like the only other person like I would take. And 15 minutes later, Maxx Crosby walked up there. So I had, to be clear, let me pop my shit for a little bit. I had 15 minutes to prepare for a feature that was going to be on Thursday Night Football. I had to prepare in 15 minutes to interview Max.
Yeah.
But that only happens because you say yes. And I assume you probably knew we were in a bit of a bind up there. And he came up and gave me a great interview. And so you will forever have a special place in my heart for doing that.
Absolutely. No, that's hilarious because I remember I'm walking in the building and like I just got done getting a massage or something. I'm eating my food. And I think it was Will that came up to me. He's like,
Compton?
Devontae. No, Will, our media guy. And he's like, Max, you busy? I'm like,
You busy?
I mean, kind of.
Doing
Like I'm doing my work. You know what I mean? I'm getting ready. And he's like, well, yeah, our guy left. He's like, Taylor Rooks is upstairs. He like, we low key like kind of need you like right now. We have no other option, whatever. And I'm like, what? I'm going right now. Like, because I've been a fan, you know what I mean, for a long time.
Thank you.
And seeing what you've done. I'm like, hell yeah. I was like, I'll go up there.
That's so sweet.
It was literally like just that quick. So
And it was a great interview. You
No,
were
it
fantastic.
was great. We
we
chopped
talked
it
some
up.
Kobe. We talked
talked
some
all
Tim
that.
Grover.
Tim Grover.
It was
shout
great.
out to him.
Legend.
But it just happened
Yeah.
like that. But I think, was that the first time I met you? It might
Yes,
have been the first time
it
I met you.
was.
And then we met, and then we linked again at
Fanatics.
Fanatics and
Yep.
stuff. Yeah, so it was crazy. But it just, shit happens like that. I feel
It
like on purpose.
does.
The world, universe speaks to you. So
It takes 2 to
That's
tango,
crazy.
though. Like, to your point, you didn't have much time to prepare, but it's probably so refreshing when you get a guest or a player to come on the show that will speak back with you,
Yes.
give you some, you know, a little bit of context, and just, I don't know, there's some people can just be laid back and not give you much, and
Totally.
making your job tough.
That's why I mean it when I say an interview is a dance. Like, it's supposed to be an exchange of thought. I listen to what you say. I give you a follow-up. If I say something back that resonates, you don't have to answer exactly right away with what I said. You can call back something. It should feel like a conversation. And that's one thing whenever I'm talking to like younger journalists that want to be interviewers is sometimes we have that list of questions and it can become a crutch because you think that, okay, you ask question 1, so then you have to ask question 2, and then right after that you have to ask question 3. And if you're thinking about the next question, you're not thinking about what their answer was.
Yeah.
So how can you have a good interview if you're not actually a good listener?
Yeah,
So
facts.
like it has to always be about the other person. And I also think a big thing in interviews is it's so important, I think, to make people feel good. Like when I sit down with you, I want you to think I think you're the most interesting person in the
Empower
world.
them.
You know, like I don't think that the interview is about me. And when you can listen to somebody and make them feel like what they're saying is important, they will talk to you about anything.
Yes.
Like that, I think, is the number one thing that makes not just like an interview, but a moment, and it creates news. That's what allows people to talk about things they haven't talked about before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there like a specific coach, player, person that you've interviewed that sticks out to you throughout your career, like the most memorable one? Or your favorite, you know?
So I get this question
Excluding
in
me.
like,
Yeah.
but well,
We can
besides
pick
Maxx Crosby.
Well, she just popped her shit with
Yeah.
a killer story about you,
no,
so
I'm getting
verbatim.
no flowers. I'm good. I'm good for
No, I get this question, and I always think like, obviously, I have interviewed people that I have been just admirers of their work forever. People that I just feel so grateful that I got to sit down with, legends of the game, all the things. But I think that like the cool thing is the moment I think I'll have where I say, oh my God, I can't believe this thing. I don't know if it has happened yet, but I like that. I like that I have had so many good moments that there isn't this one that says, okay, this was it.
Yeah.
But also that I'm gonna forever be on like the pursuit of that moment.
Yes.
I enjoy that too. But people that stick out, I mean, I love Dion. Dion is such a good interview.
He's the best.
He gave me one of the greatest quotes ever when he said, I'm not a moment, I'm a monument. I said, okay, that was
a bar.
nice. Yeah.
That's a bar,
He
for
gave
sure.
me a good moment there. I'm a big Allen Iverson fan, so when I got to sit down with AI, that was really cool. I mean, Michael Vick, really cool. And then I've had fun moments. Like I was on the sideline when LeBron and Bronny played their first game together, the season opener this year. Yeah, so I got to do that interview. I was just there when KD broke 30,000. So
How dope was that?
yeah.
it was
seen that.
crazy. The energy was nuts. I mean, one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen. I still don't think that for someone who's as great as KD is, and as we talk about him as great as he is, I still do not believe he is rated properly.
I agree.
You know, he's unreal. So I've been able to be there for really cool moments. I was able to be obviously at the Super Bowl Sunday when one of my closest friends won it. Like that was just I've been able to have some fun time. So it's moments like that, I think, that stick out to me a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great.
It takes balls to sack a quarterback. It takes Sax underwear to support your balls. I've teamed up with Sax as their newest ambassador to bring you game-changing underwear. Sax underwear is versatile and comfortable. I wear it to train, hang out, and even sleep. They've got a pair for everything, and it allows me to be limitless every day. Use my code TheRush24 for 15% off at Sax.com. Sax underwear with the ballpark pouch changes the game. Period.
When you're going through your career, I mean, you're very accomplished already. What does the mountaintop look like for you? You're extremely driven. You have all these goals. What does peak success in your ideal career look like?
Yeah, it's a good question.
I got the compliment.
Hey!
I got the compliment. Yeah.
Yes, I love the mountaintop phrasing of it. I
Yes.
like that. I think that for me, like it's a feeling more than it is like something like tangible that I can touch or say exactly what it is. And I only say that because as I've gone through life and gone through my career, I realized that sometimes the goals that you can put on yourself are actually limits because you don't even see how far you can go. So when I first started in my career, I said, okay, I want to have my own show. But like my own show was one of the first things I got. So it's like I wasn't even thinking big enough about myself.
Yeah.
Now it's like I cover the NFL, the NBA, I interview, I do sideline, I host, I anchor, I have the show. I'm dabbled in a little bit of like acting. I do some music stuff, like all of these
Some music
things,
videos.
you know? Yeah.
Come on now.
Hey, I
Churchill Downs,
yeah,
baby. Come on now.
Hey, I got another one coming. I don't know if I'm allowed to tease what it
Okay,
is.
go ahead.
But
If
I
you wanna
have,
break it.
just
Break
know
it
I
in.
will be in another video soon. He
Let's
might kill
go.
me if I bring up what it is. I don't think I can.
We'll be
But another
waiting.
one coming, added to the resume.
I love that.
But yeah, so I didn't think there would just be this breadth of stuff that I could do. So now when I think about the goals that I have, I think about the feelings that I want, how I want people to feel when they watch my interviews, or I want people to feel like they missed out if they didn't see what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I want to have like real influence, I think, especially when it comes to, you know, women and athletes. Like when I think about somebody like Oprah, for example,
Yeah.
Oprah did a show where she just talked about how beef was bad and the like beef stocks plummeted just because Oprah said it. Like
That's crazy.
You know, like Oprah
Yeah.
had built real community. And I think that's another thing I want to do is more like community building, like actually having that feeling, I think is really important to me. So the mountaintop is just, it's who do I want to be in the space?
Yeah.
I think, and less of like, it's this show on this network. And, you know, like even growing up, I was like, oh, you have to be on ESPN. You have to be on ESPN because that's success in sports. I've never been on ESPN.
Yeah.
You know, I've carved a path in my own way. And so I never want to unintentionally think small about myself because I'm big,
Hell yeah.
you know? And so that's how I
Facts.
try to think about it.
I like that.
That's
Good
money.
spot, yeah.
So you've had like, you know, we could talk about all the bright lights and the amazing attention that you deserve and you've earned along the way. I think the things that people don't see are like the crossroads and in between the journey, the hard times where you're like, damn, like you're at that breaking point, like where I'm either gonna go break through this or
Yeah.
what the hell's gonna happen? Has there been like a big moment in your career where like, damn, I don't know if I could do this, or has there been something recent where people don't really get to see, but you've had a real like, I don't know, struggle in your life or
Yeah.
just in your profession?
Let me think. I mean, there's a number of different struggles being a woman doing this.
Yeah, no, for real.
So I don't even know if I could like name one.
Yeah.
I think something, maybe this isn't like a specific moment, but something I just don't know if people really think about is there are just things that I, as a woman, have to deal with in this space that like men don't think twice about.
Yeah.
Thing is that like, I mean, look, at this point, I'm used to it. There is no world, no person, no mouth that could ever like bring me down. No one is ever going to be able to affect what I've built or how I think about myself. But there are just things that when a woman does it, they aren't viewed the same. Like even this week, this Super Bowl week, I went to a fashion show that everyone was at.
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw
yeah.
that.
It's like viral on the internet.
Yeah.
Or I go to the Fanatics luncheon that everyone is at. It's a photo in my dump, and everyone is like, spotted.
Yeah.
We were not spotted. I posted it. But I'm just like,
Yeah.
men are able to do these things and nobody thinks twice about it.
Yeah.
But I'm so used to it now. And it's like, if there are people who lack such critical thinking that they believe that if someone is in a photo with a person, they're like dating or whatever the case may be, it's like, you are such a dense person that it just doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But that is something that male journalists don't think about at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, facts.
But again, I was never, ever, ever going to let being a woman be a thing that did not allow me to excel in the space. So that just doesn't matter to me. But I would say that was something that I had to get used to.
Yeah.
But they want you to feel down about it.
Yeah.
And like people want you to like become whatever projection or like weird fantasies that they have in their head. And that will just never be me.
Yeah.
So I would just say the general struggle is like being a woman in this business. And always being seen as a woman before you're seen as a great interviewer or a great host or just an elite professional or somebody who has lots of respect. Like those things seem to come after woman. And so that's probably what my answer would be.
Yeah, no, I think you're so spot on about that. I feel like men get celebrated for being around. Like they get a picture with a girl, like, oh, he's a G,
Double
he's doing
standards.
his thing.
Yeah, I'm
but then
like,
a woman, they have every negative thing to say about you.
Yeah,
And
I'm
they're
like,
this
trust
or
me,
that.
y'all know nothing about my
Nothing.
personal life. I guarantee you it is not on the internet. Trust me.
No, for sure.
crazy.
No, it's crazy.
Yo, what's good, guys? If you're in the crypto game or thinking about making a move, listen up. You got to check out MoonPay. They make buying and selling crypto stupid easy. Apple Pay, Venmo, PayPal, credit card, debit card, straight from your bank, you name it, they take it. And I don't know another crypto app that lets you buy with Venmo.
Already holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Doge, whatever you're stacking, you can track prices live in the MoonPay app. No more flipping between apps trying to keep up with the market. And here's the best part. Most crypto platforms, trash customer service. MoonPay? 24/7 support. Anytime you have a question, they're on it. Got a friend or family member still sleeping on crypto? Put them on and tell them to download MoonPay. They'll get set up in minutes, no problem.
Hit the link in the description or head over to moonpay.com to sign up. If you're on iPhone or Android, grab the app right now. And just to be clear, Darian, this ain't financial or investment advice, and MoonPay doesn't recommend any particular crypto or investment strategy. Crypto's got risk, and you could lose your investment.
Now go lock in with MoonPay. Let's get it
To the moon! Do we have time for one more? Okay, I do want to ask you one more before we close it out. And we're super appreciative of you coming on.
No,
honestly.
thank you for having me. Oh,
Like
my
the conversation is awesome.
Yeah.
I want your opinion on what are some changes in sports media that you think need to happen, I guess, both in terms of coverage and representation.
It's a really good question.
Let's go.
Great job. We're on fire, boys.
We're on fire, boys. I mean, many things, I think. I'll start with like women's sports, for example. There were moments where I felt like the coverage of women's sports was not matching the eliteness and talent of women's sports. And the conversation was becoming about everything other than the fact that these are the best of the best. And so you have to have, I think, people in those roles who have the real experience, who have covered the sports in a real way, that care about the work that they're doing. And that, to me, I think is just of the utmost importance, because what we are seeing right now should not be a trend. It should not be a fad. It should be forever. Like, these women are the best athletes in the world. They should be covered the exact same ways that we cover the men. So I would say that. I think that it is important to go back to making media about the product.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it is a little too personality driven, in my opinion.
Yep.
Like, the news becomes what X media person said about a person.
Yes.
And I don't love that. I mean, get it how you live. It's like, if that's your thing, I'm all with it. Get your money. I am not a person that does that. Yeah. But I just think, for me personally, I would like it to be a little more focused on the athlete and the product.
Love that.
Also, when we are watching professionals, we are watching, again, like, otherworldliness.
Amen.
And that is something that should always be celebrated. And sometimes we can lean a little too much into the negativity, or a little too much into like the sensationalism, when really it's like, did you just see that pass? Like, did you see? We need to be talking about just the magic that is on the court and on the field. For sure. And we don't have to be negative to make waves. I feel like in a lot of my career, now granted I'm an interviewer, so I'm getting people to say things, but I've never led with negativity, yet I've had many news creating moments, and I haven't felt like I had to make someone feel bad to do so.
Right.
You know?
Like bait somebody into saying some crazy.
Yeah.
That's facts.
And something else that I'm realizing the importance of: headlines and clips. Like, when I first started,
Like clickbait?
yeah, well, almost more like, if we are in a time where people digest clips.
Yes.
So whatever clip you put out needs to have full context.
Yeah,
get
Because
that.
not everybody clicks on what the whole thing was and watches it in its entirety.
That's so true.
So like you have a responsibility. And I get clips is how, like I said, we digest information. You want it quick. But like you just have a responsibility with that clip that you choose
Yeah.
to make sure that somebody is being represented correctly.
Yeah.
So social media, I think, has just added a different layer of the responsibilities that we have as media and journalists and all those things. So I feel like I gave a bunch of different answers. But,
That was a
and I
great
could go
one.
on
No,
forever, but
it's a
those
great
are the
answer.
ones that
That was a
stick
great
out.
answer.
We just talked about that. Like, I mean, this whole off season, I feel like even, especially this year, but even the last 2 years, like I've been going, you see my name in trade rumors every other minute. And I could say one thing and get asked a full question, and I could say a million good things about the Raiders, but if I say one thing that is like, they can make it sound a certain way and then clip it, be like, oh, Max is trying to leave. Or you know what I mean? Stuff like
Yeah.
that. And it's like, I don't even listen to the question.
Yeah,
I
there
don't
was
even watch
more.
the interview. There's
Yeah.
a full part of
Yeah.
it, and they just like clip it into one thing. And I think that's important. But in this day and age with social media, like
It's
you almost
Twitter's
have to
fault.
be like learn how to be bulletproof. Like you talked about that. Like I think I know who I am and I know where I'm coming from and I know my intentions. So like people could try to push your own narrative, but having your own podcast, speaking out, being yourself, I think is the most important thing because all that stuff I feel like doesn't have longevity.
Totally.
You know what I mean? It's there and then it's gone. But people know you for who you are by your actions, and I feel like that goes a lot farther. So
Yeah.
I think it's spot on,
sure.
you know, in all aspects. But we know you're a very busy woman, but we appreciate you so much.
No, of
Obviously,
course. This was so fun. So many good questions.
Thank you.
I
means
loved
so
it.
much.
We
I'm
worked
so
our ass
happy
off.
that I
Good
could
job,
come
man.
on.
We
Well done,
appreciate
boys.
it.
And we
You
made it.
You made it very easy. But I want to let you know
Genuinely.
this too, before you go. Just this week, I'm in the building. Like we have a couple media girls, Ashley and Jade and all them, and I told them like I'm interviewing Taylor Rooks this weekend, whatever. And how I talk about like the Kobe's and the Jordans, like they legitimately like, no way. They're like, oh, she's a rock star. She's a fucking rock star. Like I want to be like her. You know what I mean? Like
So sweet.
I just want to let you know that people view you in the highest regard,
Thank
and
you so much.
that's just one example. But
Yeah.
we are extremely proud of you. We got a ton of love for you, and
Thank
we might have to do this again one day.
Hey,
but
anytime.
We're
Hey,
locked
listen.
in for life. You already
Max,
know
call
that.
me. I'm there.
Yeah.
We'll do
Alrighty.
part 2
Definitely.
very soon.
Sounds
100%.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It meant a lot. I appreciate the thoughtfulness and research that went into the questions, and I'm happy that I was able to be a guest. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Appreciate you.
You're the
I
best.
appreciate
Thank
you.
Thank y'all.
Peace.
Walk up in this bitch like, yeah, I'm really him.